Hello there, lovely folks of YouTube. Ren here. It has been a while since I've made a tea recipe, but yeah, this is the time of year that I'm drinking a lot more tea, and so I'm thinking a lot more about that. I made this recipe just a little while ago, a few weeks ago. I had a day where I was just like, I needed something at the end of the day. I was done with that day. I was done with the day, and I was done with that day, and I just needed something to kind of just break everything that had been set up for me mood-wise that day and just make sure that I went into the next day with a fresh start. That's what this tea recipe is designed to do. I'm calling it the reset tea. It's when you need to just kind of like hit the reset button on life. This is a caffeine-free tea. It is designed, it has some ingredients that do aid with sleep, so it's designed primarily for bedtime. I'm watching you. Anya. Anya, get out of the trash. Okay. She's being a pest today. She's being a real pest. Come here. Are you going to say hi? You're being a pest. You're under my chair. Come here. Oh, come here, you little pest. No, you get to be on camera now. She hates being picked up. This is Anya. She's a little stinker. Anyway. So yes, as I was saying, this is the tea that you drink after a really shitty day, just to kind of hit the reset button so you can start the next day fresh. Let's start with getting into our ingredients here. So first ingredient is sage. This is garden sage, Salvia officinalis. We're going to do 1 part of sage. Now, because this is a tea recipe, it doesn't have to be all the best parts of the sage. So I have like a bunch of little teeny bitty leaves that I'm going to use here. Let me move this pestle out of the way. For my parts, I'm just using this little tea scoop that I have. You know, that's the beauty of doing a recipe in parts, is that you can customize your part to whatever volume you want. If you just want a little bit of tea, like enough for a cup, you can do maybe like a ½ teaspoon as your part. If you want a lot of tea, you can do like actual cups as your part. But anyway, so we're going to start with our 1 part of sage. Let's just take some, again, I'm just taking some of these smaller leaves that are kind of more of a pain in the butt to cook with and using them with the tea. It's okay if they have little bits of stems and the woodier parts in there too, because again, they're not going to be eaten, so I think that should do it there. That about fills up that spoon there. That's 1 part of sage. I am not going to work that in the mortar and pestle because sage will just disintegrate into a powder. Instead, I'm just kind of going to loosely tear this into smaller pieces with my hands. Don't have to make it super small though for what our purpose is. So there we go. That goes in our mixing bowl. Sage, as you know, is a really good cleansing herb. And that's just to kind of clear away the gunk. One of the dangers, well, that's not really a danger, but one of the things to be cautious with about sage is that it's really good at cleansing. And particularly like the white sage smudges, people use those all the time. And the thing to consider with doing a sage smudge, or smoke cleansing really, because smudge is actually an appropriation of Native American practices, it's not something you need to regularly do, because I think of it as like the magic eraser. If you're familiar with the Mr. Clean magic eraser. Magic eraser, when you use it judiciously, is really, really good at taking stains off of like walls. So you got a smudge on the wall, you can use a magic eraser, just a little bit of magic eraser, it'll take that stain off. However, if you keep scrubbing that wall over and over with a magic eraser, eventually you're going to take the paint off. It's the same thing with sage, with smoke cleansing with sage. If you use a little bit of it in just the right spot, it'll clear up the gunk really good. But if you keep using it over and over and over again, eventually you're going to clear away all the energy that you actually want to keep there. And it's counterintuitive to do that. So sage, used judiciously, is great. A lot of people go overboard with it though. We don't need to do that. A little bit of sage here is good, because this is intending for when you have some of that gook that needs to be cleared away. So, number 1 is sage. Our next ingredient, 1 part of orange peel. Orange peel, this is literally just leftover peels from when we had oranges in the house. Just use a citrus, you know, vegetable peeler to just peel these off and dry them. Really economical. Orange is very, very solar herb. And this is bringing like sort of just a very solar brightening, mood lifting, just sort of generally uplifting energy to the blend. So the sage is clearing it away, clearing away the gook, and then the orange is filling in that empty space with good stuff. So I'm gonna get just a touch more in there. That wasn't quite full. That's gonna go in our mortar and pestle. And I'm just gonna kind of gently break those larger pieces into smaller pieces. Again, don't need to go really super overboard with it. Just kind of get it to more sizable pieces. There we go. Orange peel. All right, next. 1 part lemon balm. Now I've talked about lemon balm before. Lemon balm's a great herb. Has a lot of really good sort of emotional impact. It's really calming in that regard. Some people do find it to be sedative. For me, I find that it's not so much a sedative, but it does help to kind of calm down some of those racing anxiety thoughts that you might have. Which, if you are a type of person who has those type of thoughts before bedtime, getting those to kind of die down is probably a good way to help you get to sleep. So in that regard, it can be used for sleep, but I find that it's not as sedative. It's not inducing sleep. It's just creating a more natural environment that allows you to get to sleep if you need to. I have used lemon balm before tests when I was in school, and I found it to be very efficacious for that. So lemon balm, again, just kind of settling the mood, getting the mood into, getting your emotional state into a better state overall. Now this one will help you get to sleep. This is chamomile. This is our next herb. We're going to do 1 part of chamomile. This is another one that I know I've done videos on before. Mine is the Roman chamomile, Chamomile nobile, which I find personally to be more efficacious for me than the German chamomile, which is the Metricaria restituta. That's the one that you usually get when you buy it commercially. I find that when I buy chamomile tea, it does nothing for me. When I drink my own chamomile tea that I grew, like, it knocks me out. So chamomile's obviously here for its relaxing and sedative properties, but chamomile also brings a little bit of a solar influence into it as well, and sort of, you know, has the ability of sort of bringing in some good luck vibes, you know, just kind of like resetting your luck so that, you know, you'll have a better opportunity in the next day. And our last ingredient is ginger. We're actually only going to do about 1/2 part of ginger because we don't want to overpower this. Ginger is kind of a stimulant, but it's not a stimulant in the regards of like making you awake. It's a stimulant in the regards that it kind of like mobilizes your energy. So while the other things are putting you to sleep, the ginger's kind of working in the background to kind of like repair your energy stores for the next day. Ginger also has the added effect when you add it to any magical working of kind of mobilizing the magic and getting the magic to work back a little bit. So that's also part of why it's here. So just give that a nice little mix. There we go. And there's our blend right there. This is probably enough for about like 3 or 4 cups. I'm not making a huge amount of this because honestly, I don't need it super often, but when I do need it, oh fuck do I need it, and I don't really want to take the time to mix it. So I'm just going to have a little bit on hand as sort of an emergency store, but it's a very pleasant tea. Mostly what you mostly get is that kind of citrusy, you know, because not only from the orange peel, but also the chamomile sometimes has like a sort of appley, citrusy kind of flavor to it, with that nice warm undertones from the sage and the ginger. You know, it's a really, really nice tea. It's very pleasant, and it's a nice cup before bedtime. So anyway, that's what I have for you today. As always, I hope this video finds you well, and I will see you again soon.